Oh, hello there, and welcome back to the Fantasy Workshop. In this video, I'm building workbenches. But before we do that, let me take you on a little adventure where we hunt for some really nice secondhand stuff to decorate the workshop with.
I don't know how.
Okay, now that we filled up the workshop with some good marketplace treasures, it is time to actually start and welcome you to the second video in the series where I built my dream workshop. Okay, so I went ahead and I made a 3D model based on the concept, and I decided that I want to build the big movable workbench first, because that one I can separate into two. I can use it to make YouTube videos, I can use it to make all the things I have to make for my business. So it's a good idea to start with that one. As you can see, I already bought all the wood needed for the two big workbenches at my local hardware store. I can use all of this to build the frame, and then I have plywood in the back, which I'm going to use for the tabletop. I think it's a good idea to go ahead and start building the frame first. I'm actually very excited to start building the workbenches because it will also mean that I can finally start building all of the products that I want for my business. But for now, I'm going to start building the frame for the first workbench. I love having proper tools. I mean, you're telling me people are not worried about cutting straight? Now that I have a miter saw, I don't have to worry about that too. Now that these are all cut and straight, I can glue them together. I'm so happy that I bought more clamps. While I'm waiting for these to dry, I'm going to start with the spacers. I call them spacers, I don't know if that's the correct term. That go in between the legs, and they will have a little round cutout. It should make them look a little bit more beautiful. So let me start by cutting them to the right length, and then I need a bandsaw. I'm picking up a bandsaw tomorrow. So I'm gonna wait with the little cut thingy until I have the bandsaw. When it comes to the spacers, there's two different sizes. The thinner one that I just cut, which will go on the top of the frame, and then I have a much thicker one that will go on the bottom of the frame for the workbench. Okay, so here we have all the pieces cut to size. We have the braces that go on the front and the back, the top and the bottom, the ones that go on the side, the legs I'm still gluing up. I'm gonna give them a little bit more time. And then here, and I still have to cut that, this will go in between everything to make it more sturdy. And is it weird that I'm so hyped about the fact that everything is just cut straight with the miter saw? It feels so silly. But yeah, awesome tools. So I'm very happy about that. Now, while I'll wait to let the legs dry a little bit more, let me just figure out how I'm gonna do the more ornamental details on the braces that go on the top and the bottom. I looked at the design again and I thought it was too boring. I mean, come on man, you're calling it the fantasy workshop, you should make it more fantasy. So this is what I came up with. So now the shape is a little bit more ornamental to begin with, and I actually bought a desktop CNC machine. So how cool would it be if I sculpted some form of flower design, I put that in the CNC and then I glue it on there. I think that would be freaking amazing. So that's what I'm gonna do. I've got a bandsaw. So now I can finally cut the ornamental design that I want to do in the spaces. And then we can continue assembling the entire workbench. That's it. It's a little bit rough, but I'll clean this one up and then I'll use this one as a template for the rest. You have to get used to the bandsaw, and I think the blade is a little bit on the thick side to do this properly, but that should work. Okay, clean this one up. I should remember, it's my workbench. It doesn't have to be perfect, even though I want to. But I'm gonna use this as a template now, and I need to make 3 more for the 2 workbenches. I got 2 sides done, but that should be enough to start assembling the first workbench. I made a mistake, as I usually do. Let me show you. So these are the legs that I made yesterday, but then I realized I also wanted to do a little cutout in the legs. So now I have to take the legs apart again, so I can do that cutout and then reassemble them. Okay, I'm thinking, because cutting all of these shapes out is going to be a lot of work, and it's going to make the legs a little bit thinner, and maybe we'll lose a little bit of stability because of that. So I have another idea first that I'm going to try, which is going to give it a little chamfer with the router. And we'll see how that looks, and if it doesn't look good enough, I can still cut into it. I think that's giving the same idea, but it's saving me hours upon hours of work. It's still a lot of work, but it's nice. This is one of the updated legs done. It's a little bit difficult to see on the camera, I think, with this lighting. But I'm gonna paint them as well, and then you can see it very clearly. Come up with a design for this one, which is going to be a lot of work. I don't know if I should do it the same as the sides and put like an emblem in the middle, or maybe go with something else and keep the emblems for the side. I'll think about that. Okay, so I've decided on the design, and I will cut it out and then I will show you, because it's much easier to show you when it's cut out. You won't see the pencil drawing. You won't see that. Hello, welcome back on the ground. I did a lot of work off camera, but now all the ornamental pieces are done, including the ones for the second workbench, which I will be building entirely off camera, but I'll show you in the end. But for now I can continue assembling the first workbench, including all the, what do you call them, spacers that go in between, that give the table its stability. So let me just go ahead and do that. The frame for the first workbench is done. Now I'm going to build the frame for the second workbench first before I will put on the top. But I'm going to do that off camera because it's going to be exactly the same as this one. So it will be done now. Where did my pencil go? That is going to be one giant workbench. I'm so happy with that. Now it is time to put the tops on. For that I have sheets of plywood, and then for the shelves underneath I have sheets of particle board, which are behind the plywood. Guess who forgot his SD card for the camera? This guy. I knocked over a box of screws. I feel like that's about to become my signature move. Now you might be thinking that the workbenches are done. Nuh-uh. I'm going to paint them. Also, they're freaking big. I've been dreaming about having a big workbench for as long as I can remember. That now that I have them, I want to make them perfect. You would maybe think that with some protection they will be good enough. No. This wouldn't be called a fancy workshop if I didn't do some very nice designs. Hello and welcome to Painting Day. Looking at the concept, you can see that the workbench is supposed to have some color. So today we're going to paint it. Green. This is way too dark. Oh, you know what they say, always test your finish. I did not do that, and now it's way too dark. It was supposed to be more like this beam over here, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it dry and then I'm gonna give it a light sand, and hopefully that will make it a little bit lighter, because I mean I like it, but I don't think it fits with the rest. So. too dark, I'm going to try and dilute it with some water. It didn't do anything. Turns out, it doesn't mix with water at all. That says oil. Apparently, oil and water do not mix. Basic biology. Chemistry, not biology, what am I saying? I have decided to go for paint instead. Brown paint. The reason why I went with paint is because I'm building more things eventually, and some of that is going to be a mix between MDF and plywood and pine wood and whatever. So I think paint will make sure everything is a bit more cohesive. I'm gonna test it first. Professional painting. It's much more like it. I said I would do ornamental designs on the sides of the workbenches, but I don't have the CNC working yet, but I do know how to 3D print. So I made the designs with the 3D printer, and I will paint them yellow, and then I will stick them on the side for now until I do them out of wood with the CNC. It is time for everyone's favorite activity: sanding. That took forever, and I broke so many sanding rules. Putting a lot of pressure, holding it at an angle. I used like 40 grit sandpaper. It was a lot of work. I only did one table. I'm not looking forward to doing the other one. I think I'm going to finish this table, and if I have time I'm going to finish the second table, but I want to finish at least one so I can show you what it looks like in the end result. I am super happy with how this turned out. Although it is not 100% according to the concept, it's still very much in style with the whole aesthetic that I'm going for. There are a couple of things that I would like to change and add in the future. One of them is that I think the green is way too vibrant, so maybe I can tone that down a little bit. And then I would like to add some ornamental details in yellow to give it a little bit more oomph, or whatever you say. Also, these are still 3D printed. I want to make them with the CNC, but that's also for the future. For now, yeah, like I said, really happy with how it turned out. Super happy to be building this workshop in general, and I would be even happier if you decide to subscribe and follow me on this journey where I am building the fantasy workshop.